Hello everyone, thank you for watching Newspeak. I'm Crystal Collette. Today I'm here with New York Times best-selling author Jason F. Wright. Jason, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Jason is the author of 8 novels and 1 children's book, including 2 New York Times best-selling novels, The Wednesday Letters and Christmas Jars. Jason, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about Christmas Jars as we start the holiday season.
Sure. Christmas Jars was sort of my first big breakout book, I guess. It's been out now for 7 years, believe it or not. This is its 7th year in stores, and it's about a very simple tradition of taking a jar, pickle jar, mayonnaise jar, peanut butter jar, clean it out and fill it with your spare change. You can start that process during the holidays. You can start maybe at the beginning of fall. You could start in the summertime. It doesn't matter. The earlier you start, the more change you have in that jar when you get to sort of the magic day, which for most people would be Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, you would sit down with your family and maybe make a list of people in your life, in your circle of influence, that could benefit from this jar of change, which you'll be surprised to find over the course of weeks, months, maybe a full year. You can generate $100, $150, even $200 worth of just spare change from everyday living. Then you take that jar and you give it away anonymously to somebody who might have a particular need, who just needs a little bit of a boost during the holiday season. And maybe they don't just need the money, maybe they need just a reminder that somebody is aware of them and is thinking about whatever trial or struggle they might be going through. And that's sort of an experiment that my family took back in 2004, where we, for about 8 weeks, filled a jar up. My little kids got involved, all of us. We were very invested in all of our spare change going in this jar. And then we made a list, and we picked somebody, and we gave it away, and it fundamentally changed the way we celebrate Christmas and the way my children understand the holiday.
Now, this is a wonderful story. Have you seen this book impact families in real life?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the most gratifying part of it is that it's not even the book anymore that's impacting people. It's the tradition behind the book. And I hear from people, even in the heat of the summer in July, when the furthest thing from your mind is Christmas, I'll get some random email from someone who says, I got a Christmas jar, and here's my story. I hear both from people who have received a Christmas jar, when they have been at the end of hope, when they are sometimes literally on their knees asking for a little bit of help, and a jar shows up at the front door. And I've heard from people who have given those jars away and talked about how, much as it was for my family, it was the first Christmas that the family came together and rallied around something and all got involved in this tradition. So there are so many stories. I can't even begin to pick a favorite. But I'll tell you, just a few days ago, I heard from a woman in Indianapolis. She and her family, they were robbed while they were gone on a 3-day weekend. And when they came back, everything of value was gone. Jewelry, silver, television, computer. Their house was cleaned out by these guys. One thing left on the kitchen counter. One thing. And it was a Christmas jar full of wine. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Wow, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. Now you have a new book coming out. It's called The Wedding Letters. Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Sure. The Wedding Letters is a follow-up to The Wednesday Letters, which came out after Christmas Jars, came out in 2007. And the book is based in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, where I live. It's a very southern living, cozy kind of a book. It is based in a very real place to me. I live in the Shenandoah Valley, and so the places in the book are very, very familiar, and I use real street names and real towns and real landmarks. But the story is fiction, and it's about just a good family that, despite their best efforts, experiences, it seems, more drama than maybe any one family should have to endure. I won't go into the Wednesday Letters because I know you've all read it by now. But at the end of the Wednesday Letters, you meet a young man who has the entire world in front of him. He's just beginning college at George Mason University in Northern Virginia. And the book ends. We're now 4 years later with the beginning of the wedding letters, and this young man is graduating from college with a degree in art, and he meets the love of his life by hitting her with his truck on her bicycle. And they hit it off, and they fall in love, and they decide to be married. And then we are introduced to this new tradition of the wedding letter, which is where you, for example, you're getting married, right? Are you getting married?
I'm not.
Not getting
currently.
married. Not yet. All right.
Not yet.
Guys, she's available. Getting married someday, maybe your mother or father or your favorite aunt would decide, you know what, Crystal, I want to present you with the book of wedding letters on your wedding day. Would that be okay? Of course. Well, here's how that works. Your aunt or your mother or your friend contacts all of your former roommates and high school friends and neighbors and cousins and people you've worked with and people who have impacted your life in a significant way. And they challenge them to write a letter to you and to the guy who might be watching right now to give you some advice on marriage, some counsel on how to be happily married and what to do and what not to do, and just something fun and light and something that you will go back and refer to through the years as a really fond memory of your wedding day and a reminder of how many people love you and are happy for this big day in your life. Whoever runs this project for you, the Wedding Letters Project, we call it, would take all those letters and compile them in a book and present that book to you and to someone on your wedding day. You would treasure that, wouldn't you? I mean, that would go on your shelf next to your photo album, and it would be something that you would probably refer back to, you would think, often over the course of what we hope is a long and happy and healthy marriage. Well, what if, in the case of the novel, The Wedding Letters, what if some of those letters revealed some interesting secrets about your past and about your family? And what if you learned some things that made you pause on whether or not the wedding should even happen? Or what if the wedding were called off at one point? That is where the Wedding Letters takes us, to a wedding that may or may not happen at the end of the book, and to a new set of problems and conflict and drama for this family to have to sort of process without coming apart at the seams. And it's all based on this new tradition of the wedding letter, which I hope some of your loyal viewers and you will one day experiment with, much in the way we have the Christmas jar.
All right, Jason, well, I'd like to switch gears just a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about your website, politicalderby.com, and perhaps what bearing it has on the 2012 election?
I would love to do that. Sometimes people are surprised to know that I wear two hats. I'm a novelist, and I write books like Christmas Jars, this kind of feel-good fiction. But I'm really a political junkie, and I have loved presidential politics, in particular since I was a really little kid. So back in 2005, with some friends, we got together and I launched this politicalderby.com website as a place to sort of talk and think about politics like a horse race. We're not necessarily predicting, for example, who will win the GOP nomination for president in 2012. We're just talking about where the candidates stand on the racetrack as of this very moment. Who's up, who's down, who's doing well, who's making mistakes, who's raising money, who's leading the actual polls. And we have just so much fun with it. It's not Politico, it's not real clear politics, it's not hard-hitting politics at all. It's politics with a little flavor and some humor, and we have a pretty big audience around the country and around the world. We were talking earlier off camera about some of your experiences at Fox. I've been on Fox News many times to talk about the website and the rankings, and Fox has a feature now called the Political Derby Power Rankings that we do every 2 weeks. And it's just a fun opportunity to talk about politics in a little bit less serious way than some of the other websites and television networks out there. And I hope people will check it out, and if they like it, tell their friends and hang around and comment. We encourage people to get involved in the debate and to have some fun.
Thank you so much. If you haven't already heard, that website is politicalderby.com. Again, thank you, Jason, so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
The book, The Christmas Jars, is available in bookstores and online. Also, don't forget to follow Newspeak at Newspeak 802. I'm Crystal Collette in Essex Junction for Newspeak.